All right, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Hopeless Records. All right, so in the last couple of weeks, Hopeless Records has really shook up the punk rock world in their own way. It's a label that I've known about and been purchasing from for like as long as I've been into punk music. But recently, Hopeless Records purchased the Fat Records catalog, if you weren't aware of that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at who is Hopeless Records and what are the records that they've put out, and which are some of the albums that we should be, what are some of the albums that we should be listening to? What are my favorite? I'll be honest. I went to their website, and if you go down, you can look at it by year, what albums they did. It only goes down to 2013, right? Well, that sucks because I don't think I listened to anything of theirs after 2013 because I'm looking here and I certainly didn't listen to anything like Yellow Card. I didn't listen to any of the Wonder Years stuff. So y'all are gonna have to tell me what albums you think I should go check out. I'll make a list here, and then while I do this and while you're talking in the comments, I'll take notes of albums that you think I should listen to. Now, if you just say listen to the Wonder Years Greatest Generation, but you don't tell me why, I'm just going to ignore that comment. Like, I may respond to it and ask you why, but I need to know why. I want to know what the album sounds like, because if it's like, as an example, bands like The Used, I already know I'm not really a fan of that band. So if it sounds like The Used, now there's probably Used songs that I do enjoy. Actually, I know there are at least a few. There's probably songs by the Wonder Years that I would enjoy, but as a whole, I'm pretty confident that I'm not into that band. Anyways, whatever. So Hopeless Records was founded in 1993 by Louis Posen. The label's artists are generally considered to fall under the genres of punk, pop punk, post-hardcore, and alternative rock. They're very much like Epitaph Light, in my opinion. But hey, Pedro. But some also include elements of metal. Some of their best-known artists include All Time Low, Sum 41, Neck Deep, Avenged Sevenfold, Thrice, Yellow Card, Ann Arbor, Taking Back Sunday, Silverstein, Amber Pacific, We Are the In Crowd, Bayside, The Used, The Wonder Years, The Human Abstract, and Enter Shikari. Man, 60% of those bands I know nothing about, or very little about. I'll put very little about. In July of '08, they announced that they were launching a new imprint, P is for Panda. It was originally started in '07 as a clothing line by the Militia Group founder Chad Pearson. The P is for Panda label released its first album of various artist compilations in August of that year. In 2025, Hopeless Records purchased the Fat Records back catalog and operations. Previous owners, Fat Mike and Aaron Burkett, retain certain aspects of the label, including the Fat Records trademark, which is licensed to Hopeless Records for physical and digital releases. All right. So here are notable artists on. Man, they got a lot of artists. I want to see. Man, is there not a place where I can go look at? You know what? I bet it's on. I bet Discogs has it. Let's see here. Because if I have to just go on my memory, this is going to be bad. Okay, let's see. Hopeless Record, Wiki, Bandcamp. Do they have a Bandcamp? Oh, that makes sense, I guess. All right, Discogs, Hopeless Records. Here we go. This will probably help. All right, okay. Catalog number, title, format. Okay. I'm going to start looking, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to go through here and I'm going to pull out albums that I really like. And we're going to talk about the records that I enjoy from Hopeless Records. What's up, ST Lane says Sam I Am Ashtray on Hopeless. Sam I Am Ashtray? I don't know what Ashtray. Did Hopeless buy out Victory Records too? I don't know. I have no idea, Richie. What's up, Aaron? How you doing? Shane, what's up, big dog? What's up, Micah? Wes, how y'all doing? Travis, what's up? Mustard Plug is definitely on my personal list of albums that I really appreciate. So I'm going to start writing down albums that I really like, and I'm going to see if I can come up with like a best of Hopeless list at the end of this, because I got about 45, 50 minutes. I don't have a long time today. I got a podcast in about an hour. So let's see here. So we definitely have Avenged Sevenfold, City of Evil. I did not know that was a Hopeless release. Look, you can say whatever you want about that band, that album. They're corny to a degree. But that record is fantastic. If you like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue style stuff, and then you like better guitar work, I don't see how you could not like that album. Some of the, you know, whatever. I like it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually, quite a bit. Let's see, All Time Low. I don't know that. The Avenged Sevenfold, their album previous to that was pretty decent too, but I thought the City of Evil was considerably better. Let's see here what we got. What we got. All right. Why is it showing me 17 different versions of the same album? Okay. Format. Let's go format. Let's go CD. Because that's what I used to buy, was CDs from these guys. All right. 478 CD releases. Interesting. That's crazy. That's a lot. Let me pull up the chat so I can talk to you guys. Please, if you haven't done so, like the video. I would appreciate it. You don't have to, I guess, but it'd be nice if you did. It would help the channel out. We're getting close to 12K, man. I was hoping we could get there before I left for New York. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But, you know, very soon after. So we'll be doing a 12K celebration. What if I did a 12-hour stream on a 12K celebration? That would be kind of dumb, wouldn't it? I think I should try it. I don't know if I could do 12 hours. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Mustard Plug is great. Let's see. Several of the Hopeless artists listed were also on Victory. Oh, I mean, they just bounce back and forth, I would imagine. I have no idea who High Standard is, Aaron. Dillinger 4 Midwestern. I mean, that's not on my list, but it's a good record. I don't like Dillinger 4 anymore very much. That's not true. I like Dillinger 4. That live show just really bummed me out, man. Whatever. That's a good album. You're right. Actually, you know what? That's got to go on the list. I'm stupid. I'm being over here being like a whiny little baby. Also, what's up, Nitty? How you doing? Midwestern songs for the Americas. Is that the one with the white? I have a terrible memory. Anyways. Yeah, Newfound Glory is not a band that I would put anywhere close to a best of list personally. Carlos, what's up, dude? Favorite Hope has been Schlong G Officer Group. I don't know what that is. It's on a comp. That's cool though. Against All Authority is definitely going to be on this. Dude, that's what I was saying when I got on here, Nitty. It's 2013 and onwards. Like they just poo-pooed on all the good stuff. It's very lame. 12-hour punk rock playlist. Y'all think I should try to do that? Are y'all going to show up and support your boy? Because I'm going to need some help. Boy, I tell you, 12 hours, man. Y'all going to be drinking 6 or 7 Celsius drinks. I'm going to be all hyper, and then I'm going to crash out real hard. It's going to be hilarious. All right, let's see. I'm still going through this list. Yeah, keep telling me once. Man, I don't see how anybody... What's up with that band Yellow Card? Why are they so popular? I don't understand. Dude, that band Bayside is awesome. If you like stuff like Alkaline Trio and, let's say, Taking Back Sunday, it's kind of a mixture of the two. I really like Bayside. The first couple of albums specifically. Let's see here. I think this is going backwards in time, so I'm going to have to get down to the nitty-gritty here in just a minute. Yeah, Wake in the Fall. Oh, dude, Thrice the Illusion of Safety's on? Oh, yeah, dude. That album is phenomenal. Okay. So we got... So far, my personal list is Avenged Sevenfold, City of Evil, Dillinger 4 Midwestern Songs for the Americas, Thrice Illusion of Safety. Illusion of Safety. What else we got? Yellow Card is not good. What are you talking about, Micah? Stop it, dude. Dang, Micah, you're letting me down a lot lately, buddy. Excuse me. Falling Sickness, Right on Time is probably on. Ooh, dang. The Nobody is Short Song for Short Attention Spans might be on this list. Hold on. What's on the... This album is good, dude. Okay, let's go back. What else we got on here? Dude, 88 Fingers Louie, 88 Fingers Up Your Asses. Oh, dude, Mustard Plug, Evildoers Beware. Beware. That is a must. Look, as silly as ska music is, like third wave ska, Mustard Plug is a great band. Very, very nice people as well. And Evildoers Beware, I would say, if you're into third wave ska, is essential. Oh, Bruno, I'm not checking out Yellow Card, bro. I've listened to plenty of Yellow Card. I've worked at Hot Topic and Circuit City, dude. I've been around Yellow Card, and I do not like that band. I'm just giving you all a hard time, though. You can listen to whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah, I was just looking at Heckle, dude. The Smell of Victory by Nobodies might be on my. Oh, dude, that's a really good album, actually. That's the one. Nobodies. Smell. These are, and this is just my personal list, of course. I'm taking note of what y'all are saying, though. 15 was on Hopeless? I did not realize that. And I remember Cinema Beer Nuts. That was one that... Oh, dude, Falling Sickness Because the World Has Failed Us Both. That is a freaking great record. All right, hold on. That's a good one. That's the one where I first heard Falling Sickness. I don't know if it holds up, but I know I used to really love that record. When I was in high school. What year did that come out? 1998. Boy! That's a long time ago. Cinema Beer Nuts. Dang, that was a good comp. Let's see, what was on Cinema Beer Nuts? Hopeless had pretty good compilations. Aw. Pedro, what are you doing? My dog is being in here crazy. Yeah, honestly, Hopeless is going to get a lot of cred from getting all the fat stuff. Pedro, chill, dude. My dog's being in here being insane. Oh, Midwestern Songs is the one with the photograph on the cover. What was the white album? The one with the white cover. Dude, Punk Rock Confidential is a very good record too. Actually, that okay. Let's see. What was the Digger album you said? The Complicated Futility of Ignorance. I don't remember that one very much, but I think I need to listen to that. Okay, hold on. No, Heckle. You said Heckle. Dude, my brain is going too fast for my mouth. I think I've heard songs off of that, but I don't think I've heard the whole thing. Ridiculously long song album title. It's okay though. Y'all remember when that's what everybody was doing? Super long titles of like songs and records. Ugh. Let's see. Dude, I'm gonna look like a old head boomer with my list. That's funny. It's okay. And I look ridiculous putting Avenged Sevenfold on there, but that's a good album, man. Let's see. Okay, which Against All Authority record is better? 24-Hour Roadside Assistance or All Fall Down? I don't remember if I liked Sam I Am or not. I'll have to check that one out again too. Let's see. Yeah, that Queer's Punk Rock Confidential is one of my favorite records just in general. Wait, why did Mike choose Hopeless? Because they were a bigger label or what? I missed something. You going to Dropkick Murphys and Bad Religion in Atlantic City next month? That'll be pretty fun. All right. So far I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on my list, plus 2 I need to go listen to. Oh, dude. Hold up, bro. Adam and His Package? Yes. Redefining Music is... That is honestly a perfect synth punk album. That actually might be one of their best albums, like just objectively speaking, musically, like how good is the record? Now, how much did it sell? You know, not as much as Avenged Sevenfold. I guess it's not even a objective conversation in the end. That album is fantastic, though. Anybody in here listen to Adam and His Package? Let's see what we got. What we got. Hopeless. They're. Oh, dude, Common Rider. I think that is probably one of their better releases. This is Unity Music. Were both of the Common Rider albums on there? Let's see. I think I just happen to have Last Wave Rockers. No, this is on Lookout. Common Rider. This is Unity Music is a pretty good album. Let's see. I'll write it down. We may. With the Against All Authority, I'm gonna say it's All Fall Down. Unless the Restoration. No. That's not the album title, is it? Let's see. Let me pull up the Against All Authority discography real quick. I did a little short today. It'll go up in a little while, but it's a little tape versus tape, Rival Mob versus Battle Ruins. It'll be fun to talk about. Yeah, it is the Restoration of Chaos and Order. Is that on here? What album? What label is that on? The Rest. That's their best album in my opinion. All right, that is on. It is on Hopeless. I'm gonna say that that's their best album. But All Fall Down is also very, very good. So what do we have right now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've got a whole bunch of good records out. I mean, they did a bunch of good stuff on in their lifetime. And I mean, Against All Authority, Common Rider Split. I don't know if I've ever actually listened to that. I think I haven't recognized the cover art. I know we've had some of these songs on the stream before. Man, they did a lot of stuff, man. Let's see what we got. Ha! Trip Underwood. So this is reading Life on the Road with the Unseen. It's a 4 CD set. That's amazing. Hold on. Is that something I can get on a what? If I can get that on my app, I'm getting that today. Is it? Damn. Well, it's on a 4 CD set. I might get it on CD and listen to it. That's cool. What's the best Sam I Am record, guys? Let's see what we got here. I don't know that band Ann Arbor either, but they got quite a few records with them. Sincere Engineer. Is that a ska band? I can't remember. I feel like I know the name. Man, All Time Low's done a lot of stuff on Hopeless. So Wonder Years, I feel like I was told about them a long time ago. Silverstein, I remember when they were big. I didn't care for them much, but I remember when they were touring and stuff. Let's see what we got. Yellowcard did a lot of stuff on Hopeless. Dang, Hopeless has some pretty big records. That's awesome. Good for them, man. Whether I like it or not means absolutely nothing. Bayside. What's the best Bayside album? Probably their first record, I would think. At least in my opinion. What we got here? Alright. We're getting down here to the nitty gritty. Sincere Engineer. I think they did a cover that I really liked. I think I listened to them and enjoyed them quite a bit because of the cover song that I heard by them. If it's the same album that I'm thinking about. Or same band, rather, excuse me. Sum 41 did some stuff on there, huh? That's crazy. Yo, that album, what is it called? Tidal Wave by Taking Back Sunday is a wild record. I think that's a pretty good album, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what we got. What else we got? Dude, they did hella compilations. Dude, I didn't realize that. Has anybody ever listened to Sum 41 Order and Decline? I like that band, but I like their older stuff more than I do their newer stuff. But because I'm an old guy, so what do you expect? Son of Sam is pretty cool too. Oh man, so many bands on here that I've never heard of, or that I haven't heard. Andrew Jackson Jihad Disposable Everything is a good record. Let's see. Waiting to see what the man. We're getting down to the end here pretty soon. I'll have to look up just Bayside albums and go through that and see which one is the one I like the best, because Bayside's a great band. Anybody on here fans of Bayside? I think that I agree with that. And Micah, Does This Look Infected is definitely my favorite Sum 41 record for sure. Dude, so many comps. Oh, they did all the Take Action stuff. That's cool. Those are all really good compilations, or they were. At least I remember them being very good. Don't Mess with Hopeless. What is this? It's a CD sampler with a Texas on the front of it. Stupid. Alright, I think we've got down to the end of the list of albums. Excuse me. Dude, the Queers did 2 albums on there. I didn't realize that. Alright, let's go with Bayside. Wait, what? I did. I hit. What in the world? Let's see if this shows. Okay, so yeah, I guess Colt is the only one that they did. I don't know how much I like. Well, no, they got the Blue EP, the Red EP. Colt's the album that they did the full length. Oh wait, There Are Things Worse Than Being Alive as an album as well. Nah, Colt is better than that one. Bayside's first album, excuse me. Oh, they did Interroping as well. That's crazy, man. Vacancy. Oh, there we go. It's starting to show me some more stuff. Yeah. Colt's probably the one I would pick if I had to pick a Bayside record. But I got a pretty good list here. Let's see. Mr. Bungle, what'd you send? I don't think so. I don't recall getting something from you. Anyways, okay. Here's my list. I wanna have 2 things that I haven't listened to that I need, that I, at least I don't recall listening to them, that I need to go back and check. Sam I Am, Ashtray, and then Heckle, The Complicated Futility of Ignorance. I'm gonna listen to those. They may end up on this list too, but here's my personal list of the best albums that Hope was put out. Against All Authority, Restoration of Chaos and Order, and All Fall Down. Common Writer, This Is Unity Music. Adam and His Package, Redefining Music. The Queers, Punk Rock Confidential. Falling Sickness, Because the World Has Failed Us Both. The Nobodies, The Smell of Victory. Mustard Plug, Evildoers Beware. I think that Thrice, Illusion of Safety, Dillinger 4 Midwestern Songs for the Americas, and Avenged Sevenfold, City of Evil are probably the best 3 albums that they put out. Not necessarily my favorite, because I'd rather listen to the Thrice record, Adam and His Package, and Against All Authority, and the Queers than, well, any of those. But I think that those are probably the best albums that they put out. I wonder what the highest sellers are. It's got to be a Avenged Sevenfold in there somewhere. Probably Yellow Card, I would think. What do you think sold the most? I wonder if I can just Google that. What are Hopeless Records' highest selling releases? Okay. Oh, wow. Their highest is actually Dear Maria, Count Me In by All Time Low. Okay. Wait. This song featured on the album So Wrong. It's Right has achieved. Wait. So they're just counting it as a song. So All Time Low is their best selling artist. I would have thought it was Yellow Card. Yellow Card. That's crazy. All right, a few years ago, the founder, Luis Posen, picks the label's 10 best releases. Let's see what he has to say about it. Okay, number 10, Songs That Saved My Life. It's a compilation. Okay. Going way back to 1999, we launched our nonprofit organization called Subcity, where we realized we were reaching a lot of people with hopeless, and we wanted to do something that went beyond making artists famous and making money. We've always looked for ways we can take what we do on a day-to-day level and do something more and connect to causes that are important to our community. That's amazing. Good for you guys. That's awesome. Makes me want to support them even more. Over the years, the mental health and self-deletion issue keeps coming up, and it continues to be a huge issue, not only just in our community, but in all of music and globally among people. So we decided we wanted to dedicate an ongoing project, and we came up with the idea of Songs That Saved My Life. Actually, I really like that, which would be artists covering a song that helped them get through a tough time in their life. And oh, this is cool. And we'd get testimonials about how it got them through a tough time. The proceeds would go to mental health and self-deletion prevention charities. Part of it, whoa, where did that go? Hold on. Part of it wasn't about raising money. It was about getting the dialogue going between bands and fans. Because there's a lot of fans out there dealing with mental health issues, and they should know even their favorite bands have been going through rough times. I agree with that. That's amazing. Okay, number 9, Guttermouth 11 Ounces. This was the first Hopeless release. How did this come about? He says, I never intended to get into the music industry. I grew up in a family where people were in business, so it wasn't an odd thing to think about starting a business, but no one was in music or the arts. I was going to film school, pursuing directing films. I was a music fan, but I didn't even realize that there was a business behind it. One of the bands in film school I was directing for, I did a video for No Effects, and the direct support on the show we were filming was Guttermouth. They asked me at the show, hey, this video looks great. Want to shoot a video for us? So I did that video, and then they asked, hey, can you put out a 7-inch for us? And I was like, well, how do you do that? And they said, well, everyone we know is irresponsible, and you seem to be a bit more organized. So you probably have a better shot at doing this than anyone we know. That's amazing. So I went out and I bought a book called How to Run an Independent Record Label and decided to go for it. I put out that 7-inch with the $1,000 my brother and his friend gave me to do it. I think that they did 1,000 copies. I remember hand delivering them to the local record stores. In that book, they had distributors' contact information. So I was calling all of them. 10 to this person, 20 to this distributor. Luckily, Guttermouth had a record out already on Doctor Strange. So there was demand. And those 1,000 went pretty fast. And I got to make another 1,000. Guttermouth has a fairly notorious reputation. How were they to work with? Then he says, it was not back then what it became later. They were a pretty typical punk band back then. They had an amazing live show, but as far as the antics and things, that was pretty par for the course for bands like the Vandals and other bands that they played with. It definitely doesn't fit the same way in the current music or societal environment, but I found working with them was awesome. I only did a 7-inch with them, but we stayed friends for a long time. That's awesome, dude. Heck yeah, dude. Let's see. You sent me one. Okay, let me check my record store and I'll see if there's any kind of like, I know, was it rolled up in a tube? Let me know. We'll figure something out, dude. If it got sent to me, I'll see if I'll find it if I actually made it here. But I don't recall that happening. But I will maybe it's something I overlooked. That is a possibility. I'm incredibly sorry if that's the case. Okay, at number 8 he puts Mustard Plug's Evildoers Beware. He says, or no, the question of the interviewer says, this came out when there was a new wave of ska going. Did you see that and want to get in on it, or did you discover Mustard Plug and know you had to just put that record out? He says, I think it was both. Mustard Plug was definitely part of the punk scene. We loved the band, but it was part of our community and scene also, so it wasn't like ska was this other world where we were taking huge risks. I do remember when we first met them, they invited us out to the Whiskey to see them play. They were opening for Descendants, and I remember seeing them at that show and thinking, like, okay, this is going to break. I put this on the list not only because it's a seminal ska record, but also this was a huge record for us. At the time, this was by far our biggest record. It opened lots of doors for us. This record sold over 100,000 copies. It's one of the bigger ska records of the era. That's crazy, 100,000? I remember when somebody introduced me to Skank and Pickle, and they were like, you like silly name ska bands, huh? And I was like, yeah, I guess. They're like, you should check out Mustard Plug. And I was like, I like that name. And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, this is better than Skank and Pickle. I think in hindsight, I like them both probably about the same. I really enjoy talking to... good grief, dude. Homeboy that owns Asian Man. My brain is just too full right now. How much of that success determined what bands you eyed going forward? Did its success tell you to sign more ska bands? He says, I think if we were smart back then, we probably would have done that. This was part of the problem of someone going into doing a record label without a business plan. We were going off artists we loved and what we thought was going to continue to do well. I think at the time we thought, hey, we've got this amazing ska band. Why would we get another one? So there were probably other bands out there that would have done well, but we weren't thinking that way. Yeah, my label's not even a sniff on a turd of what Hopeless is, but I love the bands I work with dearly, and I put a lot of effort into my releases, and I go solely based on, do I like the band? It doesn't matter about music to me. If I like the band, I'll work with you. I'll risk money to put out a record that I enjoy. I think that's what you should do. If something breaks and goes big, then go for it. Cool, whatever. But I don't want to make a record with the intent of it doing really well, because you'll get let down more often than not, because it's really hard to sell physical media, especially now. Back in the 90s, not so much. Mike Park, thank you. Dude, I knew it was Mike, but I couldn't remember what his last name was. It just wasn't coming forward. That's really annoying. The Christian kids love the Mustard Plug. That's cool. All right. At number 7, he put Dillinger 4, Midwestern Songs of the Americas. So far, he has Mustard Plug and D4 on his list. When I interviewed the band, Billy Morissette, the guitarist, says he remembered sending the finished album to the label, and you guys thought the band had sent the demos. He answered with, he probably has a stronger recollection than I do, because that's something an artist would definitely be affected by if they got that response. But I remember us loving everything about this band, especially since they were so clear in who they were and what was important to them. We felt really fortunate to be able to work with them, even at the time when they only had some 7-inch records out. I feel like there were a lot of people interested in signing D4. This was not far away from the Mustard Plug record. They were within a year of each other, I think. Looking back on it now, I'm like, how do we put out these two records within a year of each other? Because they're so different, but at the same time, it made sense. The thing I remember most about this record are the antics and the stories that come with the guys. Did I ever tell you the story of them at the Rainbow Room? Go on. When they were coming through on their tour, we had an after party at the Rainbow, and there was this guy with a spandex leopard print one-piece outfit. Lane, the drummer, saw this and pretended he knew him as a famous person. So he went up and said, "Oh man, I love you. I'm a huge fan. Can I take a picture with you?" So one of the people in our group went to take a picture of them, and the guy with the spandex put his leg up on a guitar pose, leg up in a guitar pose, and while the picture was being taken, Lane grabbed the guy's package, and the guy flipped out, started yelling at him. Security came over trying to break it up, and Lane calmly says, "I'm so sorry. We're just two guys trying to have a good time. I don't know why he's so upset." And the guy completely lost it and started screaming at him, "I'm not gay." So then we ended up getting kicked out. Very Dillinger 4. That is pretty funny. D4 seemed like an interesting band to have a business partnership with, because they are incapable of doing something that might help themselves out. They hate interviews. They never wanted to support headliners. They didn't want to play the Warped Tour. Did that hard-headedness ever put a wedge between you? That doesn't even surprise me, bro. That makes me like them less, but the story makes me like them more, so it balances itself out. Not at all. We always like an artist who knows what they want. We'll work around or with the vision of the artist. The harder thing is when the artist is wishy-washy. That's actually very true. One day they want press, the next day they don't want press. That's hard to deal with. But someone who knows what they want is very easy to work with because you know what the expectations are. Okay, yes, that makes sense. As crazy as they seem, the reason that D4 works is because the guys know their roles in the band. There's not a lot of drama or turmoil. That's cool. Yo, we're getting there with my list too. At number 6, he has Thrice, The Illusion of Safety. This album was sort of Thrice's jumping point before they signed to Island Records. Do you take that personally with when a band jumps ship, or are you happy for them? He says, I don't take it personally because everyone has their own interests and goals. It's not a personal thing. Would we like bands to stay here? Yes. The bands who have left for a major label, for some of them it's worked out and some of them it hasn't. It's not all or nothing. There's no bad feelings about it, but sometimes there's a tough negotiation if the band still has albums left in their contract. But that's just a business thing. We were super happy for the guys, and I remember coming out to all the events connected to their Island debut, and I was at Dustin's wedding, which was after that, and I sat at the table with the Island A&R guys. There's no hard feelings there. This record to me is not just their jumping off point, it's their iconic point where they became what Thrice is. I agree with that. This is their best album in my opinion. What earns the album a spot amongst your favorites here? I should say that none of these are favorites or not favorites. They're like kids, and you can't play any favorites. But this was a huge record in the history of the label and the band. It was also sort of our beginning in a new era of the label where screamo and heavier music started to combine with punk rock. This record was right at the beginning, before they claimed screamo. Interesting. At number 5, he has Yellow Card, When You're Through Thinking, Say Yes, from 2011. This was something of a reunion record for them, huh? It was. They'd gone on hiatus after their major label days, and this record was really the beginning for us realizing we could work with huge established artists who were looking for a home like us that could customize what we do and put a lot of effort into their careers. We provide the right kind of service for an artist like Yellow Card. So although I think this is an amazing album, I put it on the list because it was us realizing there was a whole group of artists we weren't even thinking about. This was the first one. And then it led to us working with The Used and Sum 41 and Circa Survive and Taking Back Sunday and Newfound Glory. Before that Yellow Card record, I don't know if we ever thought working with any of those artists was possible. What made you apprehensive about working with those bands? I just think we didn't think about it. Those were major label pop punk or emo bands, and we never realized that there would be a time where it didn't make sense for them to not be at those places anymore, and we were a better fit. Yo, I always wonder if I'll ever be able to do something like that. Get a band that was like on a little bit larger label and then help them out. That would be so dope, man. Bro. Come on, 31 Records. Let's go. Iggy, what's up, G? Micah, you out of here? Later, buddy. What's up, Carlos? You doing good, bud? All right, at number 4, he put The Wonder Years, Suburbia, I've Given You All and Now I'm Nothing. This record was aided by the band doing the Warped Tour after its release, which I'm sure was the case for a number of Hopeless bands. I'm wondering, how did you think the end of the tour will affect the label going forward? Ooh, the end of Warped Tour. I guess because this interview was a few years ago. It's a sad time because it was such a huge part of our genre, our community, and it was a big part of how we released records, as you said. We planned our release schedule around the Warped Tour every year and which bands were going to go on it. So that side of it is going to be a change and very difficult. On the other side, whenever a door closes, a new one opens up. I like this guy. I like the way he thinks. I mean, look at where he's at now. He's bought Fat Records. That's crazy, dude. So there's going to be more touring this summer than there ever has been because there's not going to be conflicts with Warped Tour. People will figure out how to develop on the road without a branded tour. Though I think a lot of other branded tours or festivals will come into play because there's a huge demand and a lot of fans. But it's definitely sad for me because I grew up on the Warped Tour. This community grew up on the Warped Tour. I remember being at the very first one. It took 10 years to be able to get a band on, but I finally convinced Kevin Lyman. After that, we became close friends, and our bands have been on every year since then. As far as the Wonder Years connection, I think Warped Tour was a huge part of the Wonder Years, but I picked this record because it's an iconic pop punk record, which has led to a long relationship. We just did another record with them, Sister Cities, which is probably their best musical record they've ever done. This band has evolved over the years. They're no longer a pop punk band. They're a rock band now, and they've brought their fans with them. I think this record will go down in history as a classic pop punk record from that era. Well, I'll write that down because 2011. That's cool. I'll check it out. So what is it? Suburbia. I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. Okay, I want to hear this. I love the band name because that show was something I watched as a kid. But you know, yeah, that's it. When I heard this band, I didn't really care for it, but I can change. The Wonder Years isn't a good choice of a band name in your opinion. Well, okay, Richie. Adam Ryan says, "Big up 31 Records, my dude." Insert coin racing. That's a cool thing. Favorite Hopeless band is definitely Funeral Oration. 88 Fingers. I don't know if I listen to Funeral Oration very much. They're a street punk band? No. Hold on. Bro, I'm just messing things up here, dude. It's okay though. Nope, that is not what I was looking for. Wait, is it a? Let's see. No, it is a. Okay, it's like a. Okay, okay, it's a. Is this what Amsterdam? Swedish? Is that Sweden? No, no, no. That's Sweden. I'm stupid. What is the Netherlands? What's that called? It's called something. Dude, people are just gonna tell me I'm dumb, which I'm not. I didn't go to school, so yeah. I'll check out Funeral Oration. We've played them on the stream a few times. Okay, Iggy, you're the one who picked them up. Dutch, thank you. Let's see. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I just found out that my brother, my older brother, who I don't really speak with much, is this. This is not necessarily for bad reasons. We just aren't really close. But he had a really bad stroke. I guess yesterday or the day before. My sister had to go up to Dallas. But anyways, man, it's yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, I don't want to start thinking about that right now. All right. I'm gonna have to check out that Wonder Years record. Number 3, he put Neck Deep, the Peace and the Panic from 2017. This is a band that I tried to listen to. I just couldn't get into it. I don't like the vocals. It's that like very Newfound Glory vocal style, but with like a later Blink 182 music style. I don't know. It's just you know. They said aside from that compilation, this is the most recent release on the list. Can you tell me how this made it up so high? It was hard to pick a record that's recent because if you're going to pick 10 important records in the history of the company, you feel like it'd have to live a certain amount of time before it could make the list. I agree. When I did my top 10 punk bands, there was stuff, or punk albums, there was albums that I think might make it in the future that I couldn't put because they're just a few years old. Like if you have to be a certain age to get one of those lifetime achievement awards, you don't get one at 25 or 35. But I picked this one because it's such a huge record for us. It was a top 5 record in the US and the UK and a top 10 in 10 or 15 other countries. That's insane. It's a band that many mainstream people don't know their name, but would be shocked to see the amount of sales and streams this band does and what they draw. It's not just in the UK where they're from, but all around the world. They're our biggest active artists, so this should definitely be in the top 10. To me, it also showcases where our label has gone. From a local LA punk rock label to a global company with 15 people on the ground around the world outside the US. Pretty soon we'll probably be 50-50 in sales in the US versus international. That's insane. How much does your own personal taste affect what bands you're going to sign? Or do you trust your staff on that? He says, it's a combination. We're a real team. For a long time, we didn't have anyone on staff we called A&R. We just thought that was more of a corporate thing. We now have someone with that name, only because outside people like to have someone with that name so that they know who to talk to. It's still a group discussion and a group decision. We're really serving a fan base, so we have personal tastes, but we know we've got to get together and decide what is going to work for the fans. That's who we're serving. Well, how do you get hooked up with Neck Deep? We got hooked up with them through what's now called our A&R person, Eric. He actually found them online. Part of what he does is research hundreds and hundreds of bands from his computer. They were starting to bubble up in the UK. We saw some shows were doing well, and they were getting activity on the online in the UK. Pre-internet, how much time do you spend sifting through demos? A lot. That's how we found out about the bands back then, listening to tapes and going to shows. It's a lot easier now to go through hundreds of bands, although I miss those days too. Sitting down at the stereo and putting those tapes in. Heck yes, dude. Look, not only do I buy records from my record store, but I have a label. So if you want to send me a demo, if you just send me some like digital 3-song demo thing that sounds like, I won't even listen to it. If you send me an actual demo, I'll listen to it. I'll give it serious thought. If you're playing live shows and possibly touring, we can talk. If you're not doing those things, I'm not interested. I'm just saying. Let's see. So what is going on here? Yeah, what are all these little things, these crowns? What is that? Huh. So is XP just like so for like the people that are here like hanging out with me the most or something or what? I don't know what I don't know what these little crowns are, but it's kind of dope. I like stuff like that, man. That's fun. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay. Have you ever read Larry Livermore's book about starting Lookout Records? Ooh, I've read part of it. He says, I have. I loved it. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without Larry Livermore and Lookout Records. I love hearing those stories. We went through an era of hopeless where we were a wannabe Lookout label. We signed 15 and Common Rider and the Queers. Let's go! We actually own the Lookout trademark since they went out of business. We just relaunched it this year and put out the Lookouting, which was a compilation of live recording of the bands that played the Lookouting Festival that took place about a year and a half ago. Now, this is like in 2017 when they did all that. But this is from like 5 years ago. At number 2, he puts Avenged Sevenfold, Waking the Fallen. Ah, I would have put City of Evil. You didn't have a lot of metalcore on the label at the time. Did you feel like this was an odd fit? I didn't. Again, they fell within our scene and our community. They even though it had a metal influence, these guys grew up as NoFX fans. They're punk rock guys from Orange County. They happen to love Pantera and other metal stuff, so they combined the genres together. They were playing with bands from our scene, so it wasn't odd at all. It's very similar to the Mustard Plug story, but with metal instead of ska. What they were doing with the makeup and stage names, that was weird. I remember at the time, there were as many people who hated them as loved them, even though they were pretty small. There was a mixed feeling about them. Not really from the genre and the sound, but more the look and the attitude. I remember that very vividly. At number 1, he put All Time Low, Future Hearts. Wow. Is this the label's best-selling record? Actually, the label's best-selling record is the one before that, the Avenged Sevenfold record, which is almost platinum now in the U.S. Wait, what did we check that earlier? And it was like it might have been this one actually. I can't remember. Let's see. Okay, that's cool though. Huh. Well, that's cool. They're always trying to do something to get you guys to spend money on us, huh? I'm just gonna ask, please help, and then you do what you want. Let's see. Yeah, so nothing personal, so wrong, right? Both gold in the U.S. Let's see, Dear Maria, and that's our best-selling, and it's platinum in the U.S. The reason I picked Future Hearts is that it's our only record to debut at number 1 in the U.S. and U.K. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about when an album breaks out like this? What impact does it have on an independent label? Does the demand put a strain on your operations? I think there's some challenges to a record breaking out, but I think there's more upsides than downsides. I think the harder records are the ones that aren't doing well, and you're trying to make them do well because you love them and you think people should also love them. When something is doing well, all the times you had to call someone and beg them to do something, all of a sudden they're calling you. So it's easier when it's breaking out. The strain was in the old days with manufacturing and supply chain. That's gone away. Although, because we never had one huge record early on, we've been slowly growing for 25 years. We were lucky in that way. I've seen other labels where they have too much success too early, and that sinks the ship. You know what? That was a good article and a good interview. I agree with about half of it. The other half I'll have to go listen to. So I'm going to do some homework and I'm going to go listen to some of these records because I appreciate what Hopeless is doing. You know, purchasing the Lookout stuff, it makes sense, you know. Also, let's see. Yeah, I've never seen any of these little crown things ever. Like, this is a first for me. So thank you to everybody that supports the channel, man. Like, for real, for real. Like, look, dude, I'm going to be real honest right now. Since we're reading this and we're talking about label stuff, one of the things that I try to express to people so that they understand, every single dollar that gets put into this community, either through super chats or like if Iggy goes and buys a couple records from me, the zine that I just started doing, every single dollar from that gets funneled back into the community. I either get to go and fly out to New York and go see this fest, and believe me, I have people here that have witnessed what I do that can tell you how much work I put in. It is not just going to a show and having fun. I got to cart along all this equipment. I got to make sure it all works. I got to think on the fly. Man, I mean, dude, punk rock bowling was so stressful, but I go do this stuff for the community. And then the more I'm doing it, the better I'm getting at it. So, like, I'm able to go and live stream some of the stuff in addition to filming it. Like when I went to the Voodoo Glow Skull show, I live streamed the Voodoo Glow Skull set, but I also filmed it. So you got to see it live and a better visual and audio upload later. I'm just saying that I don't take it lightly. It is humbling and I appreciate it, but it is necessary. So the super chats and stuff, man, I really appreciate you guys. The Patreon members, I really appreciate you guys, and I'm doing the best I can with bringing exclusive stuff to Patreon, and I'm doing the best I can to make this an inclusive community full of people that we get to talk and hang out. There's access to me if you need it. If you want me to review something, I'm an email away. If you're serious about what you're doing, I'll help anybody. Ask Micah. All I had to do was send me a record, and I've been wearing his shirt, playing his record on the streams. Played his. I did a review for him. I'm working on a track by track review. Like, I work for the people in this community. So, but I'm going to New York on Thursday morning, and I'll be leaving Red Eye on Sunday. So I'll be there like 3 days, basically. Shoot me a message, Wes. We can talk. And if you're anywhere close to where I'll be, I'm going to the On the Streets Again 3 Fest in New York. That's what I'm gonna be doing this weekend. I'm glad that in that list they included Dillinger 4 and Mustard Plug, but in my opinion, they really should have included Funeral Oration. Why? It was his list. And why would that be their most important records? That doesn't even make sense, dude. Like, look, I don't know much about Funeral Oration, but I can tell you without knowing much about them that would make no sense to be on this list. Because, like, it was, let's see, let me make sure that I'm not tripping here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the 10 best releases. His reason for choosing a best release and ours are very different. His best releases are the ones that were best for the label. Ours are the ones we like the most. So, like, that Funeral Oration record was never going to be on there. You really need to do a review of the documentary about East Bay punk history. Wait, what? Why wouldn't you just watch the documentary? Which one are you talking about? Sum 41 always comes to mind when you think of Hopeless, huh? I didn't even know they were on Hopeless at all until today. Sum 41's dope, but, you know. Sorry. This family stuff is Okay, yeah, turn it around. The story of East Bay Punk. Yeah, why would I review that when you could just watch it? Oh, dude, there's a bunch of bands on here that I don't really care for that probably made that guy a lot of money. um, yeah, some was a much later Hopeless thing apparently because all their early stuff wasn't on Hopeless. Uh, I think they were on Island. They were a big band when they like Does This Look Infected was a huge record. Oh, you put it on. It's that good, huh? The Funeral Oration. Okay, what's the album called? I'm gonna listen to that one too. And I've been getting Razor Cake magazine again, and there's tons of reviews in there. So I'm gonna be having all kinds of stuff for the streams and stuff. Um, say Funeral Oration. Isn't that what it's called? Funeral Oration. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. I mumble sometimes. I'm sorry, Science 27. Did I make you sad? I didn't mean to. All right. Oh, it's just a self-titled. Cool. 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 Cool beans. Cool. Cool. Cool beans. What's that? Cool beans. Cool. Cool beans from that movie Hot Rod. The movie's awesome. All right, guys. I am going to get out of here. I have to set up for a podcast episode. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out in the middle of the afternoon like this, talking about Hopeless Records. They're doing big, big things. I wish them the best. I hope that they do some great stuff with Fat Records releases and re-release some things that are kind of hard to get a hold of. No, just two. I think 2 or 3 Queers records were on Hopeless. I think 2. Punk Rock Confidential is one of their best albums, though. Dude, that movie is awesome. Hot Rod. Wes, Carlos, we hanging out in New York or what? I need to know. I need to know, bro. I'm also doing a crap. I'm doing a Fat Records stream. Where we're doing like a Fat Records playlist, like where we're just going to listen to Fat Records songs. Any kind of super chat will be a Fat Records super chat type thing. I got to figure out my schedule. It may have to be. I think Nitty and I were supposed to do our podcast tomorrow, but I want to do this before I go to. Before I go to New York. Okay, what's the day? Today's the 14th. Tomorrow I'm talking with Ray Carlisle from Teenage Bottle Rocket. Let's go. New York, yes. I will be in New York on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then I'm leaving really early Thursday. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this fest. Dude, it's gonna have. There's so many bands that I'm gonna get to film and talk to. I'm very excited. I'm taking my GoPro and my cameras and my extra phone. I'm taking everything, man. This is gonna be a big one for me. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for your help and your support. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all real soon. I think we're gonna do the Fat thing. It may be tonight. Y'all want to do a Fat Records playlist tonight? It may have to be tonight. I don't know if I can do it tomorrow. I got a lot of work to do before I go out of town. So, and I'm still editing my top 10 punk rock albums video with. Yeah, I got to bounce after BSD, man. So the way it happened was that plane tickets were so much more expensive to stay till Monday that I didn't have a choice, man. It was like an extra $120 for one more day, and I just can't do it. So I might have to do a Fat Records. Oh man, yeah, I'll be up there Thursday. I'll be up there early Thursday morning. Like, I think my plane lands at like 11 a.m., 10:30 a.m. in the morning. I leave here at like 5 something, but I lose 2 hours. So I think I get there at like 10:30 on Thursday. Wes, do you have my phone number? Shoot me a DM. I'll give you my phone number. Um, okay, I'll do it tonight. I'll do it tonight. It'll probably have to start at like 9 because I have a afternoon date with my wife in about an hour and a half. We're gonna watch a movie. As soon as I'm done with that, I can eat something and then jump on here. Um, yeah, yeah. Family stuff will be what it is, man. Yeah, sucks. I hope he's okay, but I don't really know him that well. But it's a very weird feeling. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. I'll see you in a few hours. I'll be out here tonight around 9:30 my time. So it looks like about 4 to 4.5 hours from now. I'll do